I would like to acknowledge that this video is being filmed on the traditional lands of the Wurrundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. I pay my respects to their elders past and present, and extend that respect to any Aboriginal, Torres Strait Islander or First Nations people who may be watching this video today. Hi everyone, my name is Steph. Welcome back to the Novelty Corner. Today I am going to be sharing with you some recent picture books I have acquired because I love picture books here. Every now and then you'll get a picture book video from me. So these are some ones that I have purchased, and I also have one review copy. I think I'll start with the review copy because I received this from Alan and Unwin and it's an utterly gorgeous story. It is called Whisper on the Wind by Claire Saxby and illustrated by Jess Racklieft. And this is the story of a family who live by the sea, and it's a story of separation as one member of the family goes out fishing and the other is waiting home at the lighthouse. And the person who waits at the lighthouse is waiting for their family to come home, and they send their dreams and their hopes to them in a message in a bottle. And the story celebrates the amazing beauty that is the ocean, but also family and separation and reuniting, and it's just gorgeous. This story is told in a very lyrical way. It actually reminds me of another picture book called Isabella's Garden by Glenda Millard, which is one of my all-time favorite books, in that you start off with a phrase and then on each page you add something and then you repeat the previous phrases, so it becomes very lyrical and poetic as you read through the story. It is just stunning. So well worth checking this one out. This is a recent release. It only came out at the end of March, so definitely pick it up if you are interested in a story like that. Then I have a fun one when I'm going to be using next week, hopefully when I'm back at work with the kids, because it's an Easter book, but it's not really an Easter book. And This Is Not an Egg by Laura and Philip Bunting. I've talked about Laura and Philip Bunting books on here before. They write very funny, very charming stories. This one actually reminds me of another picture book called Not a Box, because you have Bilby who finds this egg and is carrying it around, and all the other animals are stopping to ask Bilby what it is. And Bilby has a huge imagination, and every time someone asks, they say that it's not an egg, it's something else. And it's everything from a Billbot, a Bilby robot, to a jelly bean, to a balloon, to all sorts of things as the Bilby imagines what it could be. And it's about what happens when you find someone whose imagination meets yours. So obviously it is an egg. There is a baby animal in the egg, and it's very funny as you get to the end. But I absolutely adored it. It was so fun. I am planning on using this with the kids, hopefully, to create some pictures where we turn egg shapes into other things, because I have kids who don't celebrate Easter, so I'm always looking for things that allow us to touch on that a little bit, but without it being religious or overtly Eastery. So this one will be fun because we will turn our eggs into something else. I also have Tomorrow is a Brand New Day. This one is by Davina Bell and Alison Colpoys. I have talked about books by this duo before. Their books always deal with well-being, and this one is about two kids who are having a really terrible day. They've got outbursts, they're frustrated, they feel like they don't belong in their families, that they're left out of things, and that comes out in their behavior. And the whole purpose behind this book is that even when you're having a bad day, even when you do something that you know you shouldn't, you always have tomorrow as a brand new day to start fresh. So this is about making mistakes, it's about making amends, and it is just stunning and gorgeously illustrated. They always use amazing bursts of color, and the texts are always really diverse. Next on my list is Walk of the Whales by Nick Bland. Nick Bland is the author and the illustrator, and this has been nominated for the Early Childhood category of the CBCA shortlist for 2022. That's the Children's Book Council of Australia Awards. This is a book about our world, but one day the whales walk out of the ocean, and at first the whole world finds this amusing. It's, strange, and people don't know quite what to expect. But then they begin to feel frustrated because the whales take up lots of space. And finally, one child gets up the courage to ask the whales, well, why did you leave the ocean? And obviously this is a story around environmental issues and about pollution in the ocean, because the whales respond, well, it was too dirty in there, so we came where it was less dirty. And it's just a really gorgeous book, and also a nice way to introduce the idea of how do we care for our environment with younger kids. The next book is The Curiousities by Zana, Fraillon and illustrated by Phil Lesney. This is the story of Miro, who is a child who wakes up and finds that the world is a little bit different than the way it was previously, and that the Curiosities have found a way to attach or nest themselves to Miro. And at first this is amazing because he's the only one who can see them and interact with them, but then it also becomes a burden and it becomes really isolating for him until an elder reminds him that he's not alone. Now, this is a story that has come from Zana Fraillon's experience of having a child who has Tourette's and whose experience with the world is very different. And the illustrations that Phil has designed for the book come from his family Filipino background. So the two have worked together to craft this absolutely beautiful book that combines neurodiverse issues with beautiful cultural ideas and images, and it's just a stunning, stunning book. I wouldn't be surprised if this gets a whole stack of awards in the coming 12 months. And then finally, the last book that I have to share is actually a collection of a couple of books. This is The Art in Animals by Bronwyn Bancroft. Bronwyn Bancroft is a Bundjalung woman here in Australia. She is an Aboriginal artist. Her artwork has been shown nationally and internationally, but she also writes and illustrates children's books. And I think I read somewhere that she's illustrated and or written over 43 children's books with her beautiful artwork. And this one is a collection of, I've got it written down, an ABC in Australian animals, a 1, 2, 3 of Australian animals, and possum and wattle and kangaroo and crocodile, which is kind of like another alphabet book. So this is a big bind up. It has all of her beautiful artwork and it's just a really gorgeous book and one I can't wait to add to the classroom because I know the kids are really going to love flicking through it and having a look. Plus it's a great alternative if you're looking for a First Nations alphabet book as well. All right, so those are my recent picture book acquisitions. There will be a few more in the coming months. I am trying to get a few more of the CBCA shortlist for 2022, so hopefully I'll be able to share those with you very soon. In the comments, I'd love to know if you've read any of these, if you're planning on picking them up, or if you would like to share your favorite picture book down below. I'd love to hear about it as well. I hope that wherever you are in the world, you're staying safe and healthy, and I'll see you in my next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye everyone.